Health and Education Committee is then conducted electronically pursuant to Governor Bill Lee's Executive Order 16. I would ask for a motion that Hello? Nope, I thought I heard somebody interrupting me. Nope, okay. All right, I'd like to ask for a motion that conducting the meeting electronically is necessary to protect the public health, safety, and welfare in light of the coronavirus.
Madam Chairman, I so move.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Gurley. And who was the second?
Phillips, I believe.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Rachel, you call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Blair?
Yes.
Commissioner Key?
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. All right, our first order of business is to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Madam Chairman, I have I have reviewed the minutes from the last meeting and find them to be in order, and without objection, I move for their approval.
Very good, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Very good. All right, Rachel?
Commissioner Blair?
Yes.
Commissioner Key?
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a guest speaker tonight. Many of you know him. This is Ron Alley. Ron is the CEO of Carpe Artista, and he's also, I don't know what are you an office holder right now?
No, just on the board, and
Okay.
part of the...
He's an ambassador of the Rutherford Arts Alliance, and I was hoping that Andrea Lowry and maybe Lucy would be able to join us, Lucy Langworthy, but the Arts Alliance this is not a small little startup club. This is a very thoughtful, deliberate, expansive organization that is trying to harness arts, culture, education in Rutherford County, promote it not only as an economic driver, which it most certainly is, and has been a study that I think the Chamber of Commerce acted on by actually employing someone to promote the Rutherford Arts Alliance, so promote culture in Rutherford County. So anyway, it's important for us to know more about this as commissioners, and so I've invited Ron to come talk to us about it a little bit. Ron, you have the floor.
Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me just a few minutes here to introduce the Rutherford Arts Alliance. We want to actually start a dialogue and about why it's important to consider comprehensive plans across our county that connect government, connect our education, connect nonprofits, connect all aspects of the arts community and create a vital arts community within Rutherford County. Not there isn't already one, but we believe in creating those connections that we can make it even more vital and even more vibrant. So we just wanted...
Just a second, I'm sorry. I need for everybody to mute their microphones. I'm getting some feedback, and probably others are as well. So if you don't have your microphone muted, please do that for me. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Ron.
And as we've begun conversations, by the way, the Rutherford Arts Alliance is a 2-year-old nonprofit that started at the end of 2018 with kind of the encouragement of Miss Andrea Lowry, who was at that point had been appointed by the governor to the board of directors for the Tennessee Arts Commission. She was our area representative on the board, and began to pull leaders together from multiple organizations to consider a cross-county arts advocacy group and arts planning group. And what has come out of that is the Rutherford Arts Alliance. So we're hoping to begin conversations here just tonight to let you know who the organization is, show you a highlight short video of some of the things, even through the pandemic this past year, that the Rutherford Arts Alliance was able to continue to create healthy art vibrancy, and then hopefully begin to each time for a while to open up dialogue and tell you more about the Rutherford Arts Alliance. So I'm going to share my screen and go to this video to show you some of the things that we were involved in this past year.
This is a picture of a small ranch in the Badlands of eastern Montana.
And a lot of work was done to make this mural happen, to get through all the red tape and all the things that have to happen. It's happened. And that's not the fun side of art. But we
Did the audio just go off?
Yeah, the audio went out. You may have to narrate for us as you move through the video.
Let me try one more time. There it is.
Carpe Artistic Building is empty or
distance, and we'll women's right to vote. So that's the reason.
Time. So being able to use
Well, we're apparently having trouble with audio, so rather than continue that and you not get the full picture, we'll come back at another time. And even with our testing today, Rhonda, apparently something's happening with the connection there. So, but we look forward to opening up these conversations about as we have talked with our county mayor. We realize that there's really not a place in our county government for the arts. And so we wanted to start here with the graces of this committee, because the arts are so vital in education and they are so vital in the health of our community. So we just felt like it was a good place to start those conversations. So thank you for allowing me just to introduce the organization.
Ron, I don't know if you or Lucy would want to talk about this. Welcome, Lucy.
Hi. Hi.
I don't know if you want to lay the groundwork for them just a little bit about what you've done to date with Rutherford Arts Alliance in terms of just even its formation. Because, like I said earlier, this is not a loosely formed club or group. This is a very structured group that has a large umbrella, and they are trying to draw in every type of artist that you can think of, artisan that you can think of. So if you just give us a little bit of history of how this got started.
You want to speak, Lucy?
Sure.
Lucy is our current chairperson, and she's the Assistant Dean of College for Liberal Arts at MTSU.
Yes, this has been a really good collaboration with, the city and with the alliance in the university. So when we got started, we cast a very broad net when we were talking about the arts, and it's the cultural arts. I want to stress that. So we're talking about the heritage arts, the literary arts, the performing arts. We have culinary arts. We have fashion. That's our newest sort of interest group, is a fashion group as well. And we have arts and spirituality as well. So it's very much growing. We have 13 now interest groups within the Arts Alliance. And I wanted to report to you that one of the most active ones is the Arts Education Group. We have Lindsay Halford, who is the representative for, she's the coordinator of fine arts for the county and the county school board. She is a very vital part of the alliance, and she's got this group really active. And so they're planning a project, and I talked to Lindsay today, and they've got about 12 members within that interest group, and they're doing a virtual project to highlight the beauty and normal everyday things in our community. I thought that was a really cool thing to do. From architecture at the courthouse to engravings on bridges, they want to highlight how even functional things in the community can be beautiful and artistic. So that's just one of the things that our interest groups are trying to get smaller groups active that have like interests in the alliance. So, and then we always have a featured project that everybody's working on as well. And so one of those is going to be, we're working on a virtual, not a virtual, I'm sorry, an app for historic trail in the downtown area. So we have some students at MTSU helping us with an app for that. So we're working on Leading Ladies. If you've heard about that, it was a play originally, but that's really what this app came out of. We have these women identified, but the play couldn't go on during COVID, so we tried to come up with some other things we could do with all this historical information we had about these women that were so instrumental in our history and our citizenship and that kind of thing. So we still hope to put on that play, but and it may be in the spring of 2022 before we do. But in the meantime, we're working on this. Using those women's some key places downtown that they had to do with, and have a historical trail. So, does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you guys would like to share before we move on to the rest of our agenda?
We have are seeking to pull together a concerted effort that spreads across our county, okay, and unites municipalities even with directions with the arts. So thus, I think really the interest of connecting with our county government and connecting with the governments in each municipality as well to work concertedly with the education and the arts organizations all the way across our county. So that is it's a direction of uniting art and creating arts vitality for the whole county in education and in wellness and in economic development.
So that is our key word for this year was connection. So we want to connect more with, like you said, with parts of the county that we really haven't. We've sort of been, head down, lots of things to do, and we've just been doing what's in front of us. But we've kind of stepped back a bit first of the year and said, what gaps do we want to fill? We feel like we have not gone into yet. And so that's why we wanted to kind of reach out to you guys. And are there things you can think of that we're not doing that would be good for other places in the county? I'd like to know that from you guys.
Well, if no one has anything immediately, Lucy, what I may do is just, as we do continue this conversation, let's continue to ask those questions, because this is all brand new information to them, like at the moment. So I don't know if they've really had time to think about that. Welcome, Andrea. Hello.
Sorry, I was a little late.
Yeah, no, you're fine. We've covered a great deal about the organization, a little bit about its history, the mission in terms of connecting across municipalities and across the community. But you speak so beautifully about the economic impact of this. And that's one of the things we've really not talked a lot about. And I know that's not the main part of your interest in this, but I will say as commissioners, we're always very interested in economic development. So this is a captive audience for that message. Can you talk to them just briefly about that?
I can, and we have quite a bit of statistics to back that up based on a study done by the Americans for the Arts in 2016. And it was the first time the state of Tennessee participated in this nationwide study, the first time we did it in Rutherford County. We got a grant from the Tennessee Arts Commission to do this. And, the bottom line that impressed me from a businesswoman standpoint was the results of that year-long study, when we actually really didn't realize how important it was going to be to us, the results we were going to get from that. The results showed in this county alone, $31.2 million as an economic driver in arts-related activities. And so this, of course, got the Chamber's attention and was one of the reasons that they actually have a full-time position now in the Convention and Visitors Bureau dedicated to arts and cultural heritage. But again, looking to you folks beyond the economic driver part, the fact that this is so related to our particularly mental health, considering what we've just been through with COVID and so forth, the arts are very important to our mental health and arts education to our young people, as well as those of us that are still lifelong learners.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us, and you are certainly welcome back anytime. I do hope that you'll continue to use this platform. We talked about inviting them to come during when we have the public comments so that they can speak to the entire commission. I think that's a really valuable amount of time that they can have, and they'll have a broader audience as well. So I'm excited about what you all are doing. I've had a chance to attend a couple of their meetings, and tell them quickly, what's your membership number now? It's a huge number.
Right at close to 200, around the 200 range. Yeah.
That's just after 2 years. We're barely into. We're a toddler, I guess, as an organization, and the membership ranges across organizations as well and representation. So we're really excited about that, even into the business community and government and the educational community and the artistic community, the spiritual community, the church community. It has representation all the way across, and that's what we want.
Awesome. And then, do you all have a website you want to share?
RutherfordArtsAlliance.com, yes.
Mm-hmm.
RutherfordArtsAlliance.com?
I think it's .org, isn't it?
That's it.
Hang on, he's going to look.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
That's okay.
All right. So if people want more information, they can go to RutherfordArtsAlliance.org.
.org.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you all so much. You are welcome to stay for the rest of the agenda, but I will certainly understand if you'd like to move on to something better.
One last
Rhonda.
compliment for you as a committee, looking at your previous minutes and so forth, and all the hard work the Rutherford County Health Department, and that comes with the support of your committee.
Sure.
And I can't let you go without saying how impressed this community is with their health department. And you folks are the people behind that. So thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that. We try to brag on them every chance we get, but I always love it when somebody else does as well. So thank you so much. All right, our next order of business that segues us nicely into the health department report.
Wow. Well, thank you. That was truly an honor to hear that coming from someone as we are moving forward with our testing and vaccination. So thank you so much for that. Mayor Ketron, Madam Chairman, and Commissioners of the committee, good evening. Tonight, I will be presenting the Health Department report of Community Health Outreach, providing a COVID-19 update, as we have a lot, and also seeking budget amendments for our communications line item alongside with Dr. Lori McDonald. So if you will, at this time, please take a look at the January 2020 report of Community Health Outreach. So our 3 columns labeled Protect, Promote, and Improve once again have not changed much as our staff continues to work hard to ensure that we test, vaccinate, and provide education and guidance to help mitigate the spread of COVID-19 in our county. So I'm going to move into some COVID-19 updates, and I have quite a lot of them, so if you'll just bear with us. So testing, we continue to offer our drive-through COVID-19 testing at our State Farm site located at 2500 Memorial Boulevard at no charge to anyone who wishes to be tested on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This time frame is from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Tests, once again, are free and without any restrictions, and we're doing the oral pharyngeal swabs and continue to work all public health investigation that goes along with all positive cases 7 days a week. The COVID-19 self-tests are also offered to adults on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. With the COVID-19 self-test, these results may be available within 72 hours of arrival at the lab, of course, depending on the volume of tests that the lab receives. Additionally, on these days, our public health staff members are able to provide self-test kits to adults who wish to be tested. One update to this from our previous meeting that we held is that they can now take these self-test kits home and complete them in the comfort of their own living environments, as well as mail the samples in themselves via UPS that same day. However, we are still also have the option that remains open to actually have them do this on site, complete it in their vehicles and collect their samples, and then the health department staff will drop those off at our local UPS on that same day. As a reminder, the self-tests, though, are not approved for children under the age of 18. So children and then adults who are unable to register online can also still receive their drive-through oral pharyngeal COVID-19 tests on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I want to also at this time take a time just to thank Chris Clark, our law enforcement, EMS, and National Guard for helping us over at State Farm with all of our vaccination and testing efforts. So vaccination phases. As you all may be aware, the Tennessee Department of Health announced that we have opened up vaccine registration across the state for those who are 65 years of age and older, in addition to Phase B starting this past Monday. So Phase 1B includes our teachers and staff members of kindergarten schools, child care facilities, and also operation personnel at first responder agencies. So Tennessee's 6 counties that have their own independent health department, which includes Sullivan County, they're of course do not fall under the jurisdiction of the Tennessee Department of Health, and they're able to make their own decisions regarding their vaccine rollout and how they will go about doing that. But the other 89 rural counties are falling within these same current phases. And so now that the eligibility has expanded statewide, it is also possible to book an appointment to get a shot and receive it in your respective county if eligible. However, you can also go to other counties to receive the vaccine, but we are asking that you receive the vaccine in the county that you actually reside in. This expanded eligibility for the vaccine comes as the state also anticipates more shipment of vaccine being administered to our local health departments. And while we remain focused on our seniors who are, of course, at highest risk population, we are able to expand vaccine eligibility to those additional groups as our supply continues to grow each week. Additionally, I would ask that everyone continue to look at this COVID-19 vaccination plan. It has also added pregnant women to phase 1C, as they are also at high risk for hospitalizations and death. In an effort to make this easier to get vaccine out, the health department has also rolled out a new vaccine scheduling portal, which we refer to as VRAS or VARS. This is an online system that can help people across the state book appointments. Vaccine locations. So as we move forward with being able to administer more vaccine in our county, I'm excited to provide you all with our current vaccine locations. And of course, this is being updated daily, it seems like, as we have more people who are being onboarded. So a couple of our vaccine locations located here in Rutherford County: the Walmart located at Joe B. Jackson Parkway, Mills Family Pharmacy located at 2994 South Church Street, Beckman's Pharmacy Prescription Shop located at 120 East College, Terrence Pharmacy located at 502 Highland Terrace, Wellstone Pharmacy located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard, Suite 3, Primary Care and Hope Clinic located at 1453 Hope Way. Of course, our State Farm Operations Location Center located at 2500 Memorial Boulevard. Las Casas Drugs located at 4702 Las Casas Pike. Walmart in Smyrna located at 570 Ann Springs Road. We were also alerted on previous calls this week that Sam's Clubs, Kroger's Health, and food cities across the state will also be receiving vaccine over the next few weeks to be able to administer in our community. And as the state onboards additional locations, we will make sure this is updated on our county government website as well as the health department's website. So all of those I just went over, they will be listed on those websites for you to go back and refer to. Additionally, we are working with Middle Tennessee State University, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic, Stonecrest, and both school systems to help administer more vaccine in our community. I also want to take this time to thank Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford for being amazing community partners last week. And I wanted to say a huge thank you to them for being able to administer our vaccine, because we had a few vaccines that was going to expire as of last week due to the inclement weather. We were not able to open, and so they were able to take this vaccine and administer it, so therefore we did not have to waste any vaccine. So thank you to Ascension St. Thomas for being amazing community partners and getting this vaccine out. And once again, I'm just extremely proud to work with our community partners and for all that they continue to do for us here at the health department. And even our staff, as we have not had to discard or waste any vaccine, thanks to the partnerships that we have, and then also our amazing staff just making sure that they're managing that vaccine. So as we're looking at rescheduling, I know there's been a lot of conversations and a lot of phone calls, probably to some of you all as well, our second dose rescheduling. So I just want people to know that it's okay to get their second dose later than 3 to 4 weeks after their first dose. People should get the second dose as close to the recommended interval as possible. However, there is no maximum interval between the first and second dose for either vaccine. So as we've looked, and as Dr. Mack has also explained several times, with our experience with other vaccines has shown that the booster shot can be quite effective, even if the vaccine series is delayed or interrupted. And so guidance from the CDC, the second dose shot should be administered close to the recommended interval as possible. However, if it's not feasible to adhere to the recommended interval and a delay in a vaccine is unavoidable, the second dose of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines may be administered up to 6 weeks. And so that's 42 days after that first dose. So they should be able to get in and get their second dose within those 42 days. And so we are calling back individuals in our county as of this week that were scheduled for last week to get them in either this weekend or next week, depending on our vaccine allotments that we have in. And currently right now, we have enough vaccine to be able to administer those second doses as well as first doses. So if individuals in our county have not been contacted to receive their second dose by Friday, we're asking for them to call our hotline number, which I'll give here in just a moment. So as of this morning, our number of vaccines reported in our county that we've been able to get out, and this is with all of the community partners that we have on board, is roughly about 6.98% of our county population, so about 33,000 is what we've been able to do. So as we're looking at our local call center and messaging, please be advised that the number for the Rutherford County COVID-19 vaccines limited operations call center has changed. Thanks to Ashley McDonald and for taking the lead and helping with our messaging efforts. She has, since our previous meeting, done a media toolkit, which includes audio PSAs, audio radio PSAs, and a YouTube PSA, which has all been created and shared with our local public information officers and also been made available on our Rutherford County TV channel as well. She has also made changes to our websites and will be posting on social media updates frequently. As a reminder, our call center, the purpose of the call center is to assist county residents with signing up for the state's new VRAS scheduling system, following up with persons on the wait list for first dose administration, and then also scheduling our second dose appointments. So our number for our call center is 615-898-7997. Once again, 615-898-7997. And our call center is open Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Saturdays currently from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. I also want to thank Cody York and the IT department for all that they've done to ensure that our call center is up and running. And we appreciate you all for helping us get the word out about our call center and the information that provided. Once again, our local health department is moving through our phases based on the vaccine allocation, and right now we remain in 1A1, 1A2, 1B, and 65 plus. And when we do move to another phase or incorporate a new age group, we will continue to communicate this information through several channels and working alongside with our public information officer, Ashley McDonald. So at this time, I will open it up if anyone has questions. I do have a list of frequently asked questions I'll make sure to get out to you all so that you will have them as your constituents may be calling and having questions regarding things. But I do want to take this time to open it up if you have any questions regarding COVID-19 before I move into the budget amendment.
Anyone have any questions?
Madam Chairman, I have a comment.
Yes.
I just want to praise the health department again. I was supposed to have my second shot last Monday, which is the ice and all that that was canceled. They called me back promptly on this past Saturday, and I go this next Saturday to get my second one. And I appreciate them. I didn't have to call. I didn't even try to call, so I knew they would take care of that. But they called promptly, and I'm set up to go this Saturday. And I appreciate their hard work.
That's awesome. Well, Shannon, I don't know if you or Dr. McDonald want to take this question, but I know you probably feel like a broken record, but I don't think we can say this enough. Will you address vaccine hesitancy, and how would you answer people who might say that they're concerned about the vaccine?
That one, I hear that a fair bit. I spend a lot of time out in the, I'm going to say field, but it's more like the parking lot these days, with folks that come through. I think the best thing to do for people is to stick with the actual literature. And I review the literature constantly, so I can tell them the safety, the effectiveness, any adverse effects we've had, and then I can use our personal experience with the many that we have done, because I'm there for all of the vaccine clinics to be available in case someone has some kind of reaction, and we've not had any issues. I mean, we're very careful about explaining things, and people that are hesitant go ahead and they get the vaccine and they're glad they did. So I think the best way to do it is to just go through the studies, explain the effectiveness of it, explain that we don't have data that's long-term, but we're gathering it every day, and it's probably one of the most safe, effective vaccines that we've ever had. Certainly one of the most effective ones, like 94.5%, you can't do much better than that. And then there's some data from other countries who have chosen not to do second shots that show even extremely high effectiveness months after only a single shot. Now, we're not doing that, of course, but that's just another example of, information we can give people so that they understand that we're on top of it and that we have faith in it. And, people say, well, have you been vaccinated? I say, absolutely. All of us have been vaccinated. There's been no issue. And anecdotally, I am seeing more minority populations coming through, which has made me really happy, because there has been some hesitancy there as well, but that seems to be picking up. So I think just giving them the truth and backing it up with good evidence from the New England Journal or from Dr. Fauci himself is the way to go.
Very good. Thank you for that. Are there any other questions? And Rachel, you'll have to help me if there's any of the commissioners that are there in person that I'm not able to see their faces on Zoom. If anybody has anything, please pick up your microphone and address me if you do have a question. Okay, if not, we will entertain a motion to approve the report, and then we'll move on to the budget amendment.
Move to approve.
Very good. That was Commissioner Gurley.
Second.
Commissioner Phillips. Very good. Thank you. Can you call the roll, Rachel?
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Blair?
Yes.
Commissioner Key?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes, thank you. All right, LaShane, you've got a budget amendment?
Yes, ma'am. So thank you all once again for all that you do. So as we move forward with our budget amendment, we request to amend our Rutherford County budget amendment to decrease $10,500 from 55110-169 201 and 211, which is our repair and maintenance building, which is our line item that we have for a temp employee, to increase it to 5510037 communication, as additional appropriations is needed for communications, because our communications is running, of course, more than our previous years with COVID-19, and currently we are still getting anywhere from 200 to 400 calls within 15-minute period, which is very taxing to our phone systems, as you all can imagine. Additionally, this amendment is needed because of the increased usage for our cellular phones. We've had to use our cell phones for our WIC patients, in addition to using it for COVID-19, calling back of appointments and things. So we're asking for this. It has also been determined that the part-time funds will not be utilized for the current fiscal year, which is what we're trying to get the $10,500 for. So this request is not asking for any additional funds, as we have found funds within our existing budget.
Very good, thank you. Are there any questions about the budget amendment?
Move to approve the request, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. That's Commissioner Phillips.
Second.
Commissioner Gamble, thank you. All right, Rachel, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Gurley?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Key?
Yes.
Commissioner Blair?
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just remind everyone, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. I'm continuing to get a little bit of feedback. Thank you. Mayor, did you have anything you want to share with us on the community care report?
Thank you, Madam Chairman and members of the committee. The construction continues this week. This past week, as happened to a lot of people, presented problems with construction, even though it's inside, but it was getting to and from. So the workers were probably slow and very few showed up. So they're trying to cram everything into this week, just like we all are, that we missed last week. But other than that, the construction continues on our old wing. The board was supposed to meet tomorrow at noon. That's been postponed for another week. To go over the budget, and the finance committee was going to meet, and so hopefully by next week we'll know what those projected budget numbers are that will go to the full board. Other than that, everything's good, and patients are good and warm and toasty. Thank you.
Very good. All right, we will consider that a report. If I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
All right, Commissioner Gammon, do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Gurley, thank you. Rachel, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Key?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Blair?
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes, thank you. All right, the next thing on our agenda is special projects. Miss Jolly, of course, with the county being closed last week, she was a little bit late getting that out to us, and she sent her apologies, but I assured her it was no trouble. I think she paid one bill. That was the only thing that changed from the previous month. So I tried to send that to you all earlier today. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at it. If you don't have any questions, I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I've reviewed that. I did get it attached email, and I've reviewed it. I move that we approve the report.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Gurley, thank you. All right, Rachel?
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Mr. Gammon?
Yes.
Mr. Gorley?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes, thank you. All right, next we have school board. I understand, I think they're actually there in the room. Doug and Trey.
Good evening. Ms. Spurlock is at a school board meeting with zoning for Plainview Elementary, so you have the backup. You know, so we have two amendments for you tonight. One in the building program fund, and the other in the capital project fund. We'll go over this building program fund amendment first, and if you have any questions on the building program fund amendment, Mr. Lee is here to speak about any, to answer any of your questions on any change in the building program. The first one is building program budget amendment for Fund 189. This proposed amendment for the building program fund moves budgeted funds from the completed Rockville High and Rocky Fork Elementary School projects to allocate for additional site development and associated architect and engineering costs at the Plainview Elementary site, with the remainder of funds allocated for design services for 3 middle school additions, a elementary school annex, as well as to future elementary school construction projects as indicated on the approved 5-year building program plan. This amendment requests no additional new funds for Fund 189. The recommended motion is to approve the proposed amendment to the building program fund, Fund 189, as presented. And we have, that was sent to you folks, the actual amendment. And once again, if you have any questions on the movement of these funds, Mr. Lee can explain about the need for these funds to be moved.
Madam Chairman?
Yes, Commissioner Gurley?
Yes, I have a question. If I remember right, a couple of years ago when we were building Rocky Fork Elementary, there was a request for somewhere around $1.5 to $2 million additional for that, but yet we seem to have quite a bit left from that. I wonder if we could just get a little bit of explanation as to why. I mean, I'm happy that we have money left, and that's great, and but I'd just like to understand it a little bit more.
Yes, sir. At the beginning of that project, Commissioner Gurley, if you'll remember, we had some unsuitable soils that we encountered that did not show up in the original borings, and that constituted an additional $1.2 million in site work, but over the course, which we allocated at the time of the need to increase the budget. As we went through the project, though, there were other areas that as we went along, we were able to save funds. So that is what is being reflected now. We added those funds, but then we were able to save funds later. So that's the reasoning for having some additional funding left over and moving it.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Madam Chairman, this is Jeff Phillips.
Yes.
This kind of a brief explanation. You're allocating some funds for future schools, new schools. Will that specific request come back to this committee for approval, or what? We're asked to approve something for maybe we don't know exactly what project they're talking about. So I'm just wondering if that specific request would come back to this committee.
No, I understand the question. Doug, I'm going to speak for you, but please back me up on this. For the way I understand that when we move this money, basically it's a placeholder. Is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am, and I created this, there has been already a future new secondary project, column, and that is for the unshared funds. And I created, can you mute your mic? I think I got some feedback.
Mr. Phillips, I think you need to mute.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. What I was saying was, yes, we will, like you said, this is a placeholder. I created this future new elementary project because these are funds that have already been shared with the city of Murfreesboro, so I wanted to keep them separate. But to answer Mr. Phillips' question, Commissioner Phillips, yes, we will be back in the next project as it's identified in the building program, and it would come back to this body before it was expended or appropriated.
Very good. Thank you so much, Madam Chairman. With that explanation, I move to approve the request.
I second it.
All right, Commissioner Gurley with the second. All right. Rachel, will you call the roll on that one, and then we'll do the Fund 177 next?
Commissioner Blair?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Key?
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes, thank you. All right, and then you've got Doug. I've got one more amendment.
Yes, ma'am. This is the Education Capital Projects Fund, Fund 177. This requested budget amendment moves the remaining funds of $70,000 from the system-wide backup server project to a multi-complex server and telecommunications upgrade project to fund technology upgrades at several school sites. If you recall, we decided to not do the backup server project this year, and we came to this body before to move some money, these funds, to other needed projects. And with that $70,000 remaining, we're now requesting that be moved to take care of these telecommunication upgrades that are needed. And so the recommended motion is to approve the proposed amendment to the Education Capital Project Fund as presented.
Very good. Are there any questions for that? If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Do we have a second? I couldn't hear.
Commissioner Cook, seconded.
That's very good.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. You call the roll for us, Rachel?
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Blair?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley?
Yes.
Commissioner Key?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Yes.
Ms. Allen, Commissioner Allen, have one last thing if I could be recognized.
Yes, please.
I just, there's a bill at the State General Assembly, and it's House Bill 48 by Representative Hawk, and it's Senate Bill 1056, and that is being co-sponsored by Senator Reeves. It was introduced recently. As it's introduced, it redirects 80%, the 80% portion of the tax revenue from the privilege tax on sports gaming from the Lottery for Education account to an account created for distribution to public school systems for the construction and maintenance of school buildings. That would bring in conservatively between 1.5 to 2 million based on current online gaming revenues from taxes to Rutherford County to help with some of these projects that we've been bringing to you. And I just wanted to make you folks aware of that Senator Reeves, like I said, has already co-sponsored this. If the commission would please, reach out to our other delegates and ask them to please co-sponsor this. This would bring in some revenue for some of these projects. Instead of going to the property owners, this would be some additional revenue for these projects. Once again, it's House Bill 48, Senate Bill 1056.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that, Doug. I would definitely entertain a motion that we draft a resolution and share that with the full commission and send that to our delegation. What are the wishes of the committee?
I'll make that motion, Madam Chairman.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Very good, thank you. Rachel, will you call the roll?
Mr. Key,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Blair,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Chairman Allen.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Doug, for sharing that.
Thank you.
Hey, Trey, before you walk away, do you want to give us an update on Plainview?
Presently, with the inclement weather and all the challenges we've had, we still remain on schedule for opening in August.
Very good. How long before we get a tour?
It's a little muddy at the time being. I can get you back there. I think we ought to wait for a little better, like for another month or so, let it warm up a little bit, get a little of this mud gone, and I'll be glad to do a tour.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Appreciate you both.
And if you, we've been sending drone photographs to James Evans, and he reposts them on the school system's website. So if you want to get a look at those, James updates them monthly as we update the photographs. So they were recently updated about 2 weeks ago, and I'll have new ones probably next week.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. All right. Is there any other business for this committee? Going once. Very good. All right. We stand adjourned. Thank you all very much.